Okay, guys, I know you're probably going to be upset, but the reason we aren't doing the Frank Miller's Batman review today is because I bought the books. I want to reread both the books before I give my honest opinion on them. So as soon as those come in and I read them, we're going to do an honest review. But today I kind of just wanted to, just like talk about mindset. I think the biggest thing I see in the gym with people is, everyone goes and maybe they go for a month or a few months and they're like, oh, I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to get big. But I think the difference with most people is most people aren't willing to, nobody understands how much you actually have to put in to bodybuilding. Everyone can go to the gym and hit a workout and take some pictures. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Not everyone's willing to put in all the work with diet. There's a lot of days where I don't want to weigh out all the food I eat. I'm like, do I really need to bust out a scale just so I can make sure I put the right amount of oats in my protein shake? But at the end of the day, it's just consistency, and you're tracking those variables. Maybe you stop gaining weight, so you're like, okay, let me add these oats. Add it like a few more grams of oats. Or you're cutting and you're trying to lose weight and you've been tracking everything and you hit a stalling point, you're not losing any more weight. It's like, okay, maybe I need to cut back on some of this food. And that's why it's important, and it's also what you're putting into your body. Like when I first started bulking, like during my junior year, so probably like a year and a half ago, everyone told me, they just said, eat as much as you can, put as much food into your body as you can. And while that's true to an extent, there's a point of taking it too far. There's a line, and you can be right at the line and you're going to be riding smoothly, you're going to be recovering nicely, you're going to be making excellent gains, you're not going to be putting on weight super fast, but at a good pace, and then when you really push it and you eat shitty foods, you go above that line and it's just a territory, and it does play a role with genetics. Like, for example, Lee Priest, he would do the dirty bulk and it worked amazingly for him. Or someone like Sam Solik, he does a dirty bulk, it works amazingly for him. It's genetics plays such a key role factor in that. Like for me, my genetics, I don't have a genetic lottery by any means, right? Like even now, being super anal about everything I eat, all I'm eating is whole foods. I don't ever cheat on my diet, really. I mean, I have a cheat meal every now and then, but it's like I'm still eating clean. Like if I have a cheat meal, it's like maybe I have 2 cookies or I have a steak dinner or something. It's not like excessively cheating. And genetics just plays a role in that. Like most of my family is overweight. A lot of my family is overweight. Nobody in my family is really like jacked. Everyone's like a little bit doughy. Everyone in my family is like a little bit soft, I guess, like in the muscle term, and I feel like I look a little soft, but that's why everyone else in my family isn't like, they don't have that genetic like roughness to the muscle. They're all a bit more doughy. I think it's also just the thing in my family, like we don't naturally run high in testosterone. There's no one in my family really that's jacked. My dad's like bigger, but not in a muscular way necessarily. He's like definitely muscular, but not in that way. So it's like, I definitely don't have the genetic lottery, But the difference is, even though I don't have that genetic lottery, I'm willing to put in the work that others aren't willing to put in, And I can't remember who said it. Some bodybuilder somewhere, sometime. I've seen clips of it before, and it really hits me at heart. And it's something that I like to constantly remind myself and think about. Is the dudes who aren't genetically gifted but put in 120% of their effort are going to beat out the guys who are genetically superior and only put in 70% effort, you know? And obviously, you know, it's going to take you a little longer. Like me, I remember when I first started working out and I was going with my friends, a lot of my friends just genetically gifted, like right away, just soaring, just soaring high, you know, they're experiencing all the gains, but they didn't last, you know, they weren't willing to put in that hard work. After a few months, progression kind of comes to an end. They just give up. And I've always been a slow progressor, right? And it sucks, you know, but it's just how bodybuilding is, you know. You're not always going to be progressing. You're going to hit stalling points where you're going to kind of hit a curb, and it's going to take a few weeks to finally kick up over that curb. And it sucks, you know, but at the end of the day, if you keep pushing and you keep pushing food, you know, you keep pushing your workouts, you're recovering, you're giving it your all, you're going to grow no matter what at the end of the day. And I feel that me personally, like all that's ever on my mind is bodybuilding. Like sometimes I can't fall asleep because all I can think about is my lift the next day. That's all I can think about. I'm thinking about my meals the next day. I'm thinking about my workout. I'm thinking about taking my supplements. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do in the gym, what I want my end result to be in the gym. And recently, all I've been thinking about is the future. And in my eyes, what I envision for myself in the future, in 2 years, I am no longer going to be working a full-time job. In 2 years, I'm going to have enough followers, enough support. I'm going to have sponsorships. I'm only going to be doing social media in 2 years' time. Give me 2 years, guys. And in 2 years, we're going to be a huge difference from now, okay? Now, my current thoughts is I want to do one more, maybe two, natural bodybuilding shows over like the next year to 2 years. And then probably around 20, I want to take that further step. And by 22 or 23, I want to be an IFBB pro. And by 25, I want to be on that Olympia stage. That's my goal. And one day I hope to put in all that work and become a classic physique champion of the world in the Olympia. And, you know, a lot of people are going to look at me now. They're going to watch this video. They're just going to laugh. They're going to go in the comments and say, you're delusional. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But if you've paid attention to me at all, you've seen all this work I've put in. I think we're probably over 160 videos now. You guys seen the beginning of my transformation to the end of the cut, and you guys are seeing all the work I'm putting in now. And you can doubt me now. You can laugh at me now. You can go in the comments. You can make fun of me. You can be a dick. You can be an asshole. But at the end of the day, all that matters is my thoughts. And my thoughts, I know, are going to come true, you know? And at the end of the day, it's just how much work you're going to put in. And if I keep putting in this work and I keep giving it my all, and I just say, fuck you, I'm going to do this, and I just listen to myself, I put on the blinders and I stay in my box, I know I can achieve what I dream of achieving, you know? I know I can prove everyone wrong, you know? I know I can turn the laughers, the people who laugh at me, into fans, you know? And it's all just down to mentality. And I love this sport so much. It's all that's ever on my mind. I want to get better. I want to get bigger. I want to be able to compete with the top of the top. And one day I'm going to be one of those guys, you know? One day I'm going to be one of those guys teaching kids that are my age, like my age now, but here in the future, I'm going to be teaching kids my current age. And I want to motivate those kids and, you know, help them learn the mistakes I made and not make those same mistakes. I want to help them grow, you know, and someday I'd like to be a coach too. I've even been thinking about maybe just coaching Dylan for free, just for the fun of it, you know. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I'm really just trying to put every ounce of effort I've got into this, you know, tracking all my meals. And then, you know, after my bodybuilding show, the next step was, okay, let's get a coach and really lock in here, you know. And it's definitely helped in a capacity a lot. You know, I don't have to do the thinking anymore. I don't have to think like, oh, do this and this. It's like, here's this guy, right? I do my weekly check-ins, and based off my weekly check-ins, he's like, okay, maybe we can up your calories. Let's keep them where they're at. Let's try this in your workouts because I feel like this muscle's looking really developed, and give this muscle a little more work. And that's something I couldn't do on my own, and I'm beyond grateful for my coach. I like my coach a lot, so no complaints. But just mindset is, you got to be willing to put in more work than anybody else. You got to think that you're the best. All you can think to yourself is, I'm the best. I'm going to be the best one day. And that's all I think to myself is, I'm the best. I'm going to be the best one day. I am always thinking to myself, I'm working harder than every single dude in this gym. No one is outworking me. You got to have that die mentality. You can't go into the gym and just hit a workout and not grunt and not really put in full effort. Just go in there and kind of dilly daddle and do whatever bullshit exercises. You got to go in there and give it your all. You got to go in there and say, no, I want this. I want to be the best. I'm going to be the best. And you just got to go balls to the wall, You got to give it your all, That's the thing about bodybuilding, is when you step up on stage, everyone's going to know how much work you put in. And nobody wants to be that guy who kind of shows up on stage half ready, half-assed, didn't really put in that much work. And my goal for the future is to keep busting my ass like I have been. And I hope you guys see my videos and you think, this kid really, really loves what he does. This kid is going to take himself somewhere. And that's what I like to think of myself, is I'm like, I'm going to fucking go somewhere with this. One day, you're going to see me on the biggest stage in the world underneath the bright lights. And I'm only 18 now. So, that's like, by the time I'm saying I want to step on an Olympian stage is when I'm 25. That's 7 years from now. That's 7 years of growing, guys. So hate on me all you want. Laugh at me all you want. I'm used to it. I go to the gym all the time and I see people laughing at me because of my camera. Like, I'm not stupid. I see people laugh at me all the time because of my camera. They point at me and laugh, or they record me and laugh. And it's like, okay, whatever. At the end of the day, not the end of the world. They can do what they want. They can find whatever's funny that they want. But when I see them doing that, to me, I'm just like, okay, I'm outworking them. They sit on their phones on the leg extension or the shoulder press and watch TikTok and Instagram reels and fucking joke around with their buddies. But who's really out here working their ass off? And, I don't need to prove those people wrong. I already know I'm better, and it sucks. I get judged a lot of the times, and I'm already a pretty insecure person. I don't like to, I guess I'm insecure. It was really hard for me when I first started to pick up the camera and record, but now it's just a habit, and I'm like, I can't be insecure, and it sucks, and it's hard, and, nobody likes to be laughed at. Nobody wants to be the laughing stock, but I had to kind of just become okay with being a bit of a laughing stock in order to reach my goals. And, everyone can laugh, but it's like, I have people come up to me all the time and say they want to pick up a camera because on the off chance maybe they could turn something out of it. And that's my view, is not only am I going to turn something out of this, I want to be able to look back at these videos in 5 years and say, holy shit, what did I do? I want to be able to look back and say, that's crazy, so much growth. And I know I'm going to look back and be so beyond grateful. I kept recording and I kept pushing and I kept uploading videos, even on the days I didn't want to edit, or the days I didn't want to record, or the days I didn't want to talk to a camera. It's hard. It really is, especially being a kind of antisocial person. But I'm gonna keep pushing, guys, and I feel like I've been yapping for a while, so I'm gonna end the mindset talk there today. But I'm pretty excited to get those Batman comics in and actually read them and tell you guys my honest thoughts on the book. And I think that's going to be a fun thing to do. But that's going to be it for today, guys. So I love you all so much. Thank you for watching.